Hey guys, and welcome back to EyiyemiOlivia Chats. This is the third episode, so like I said, I'm keeping myself accountable to you all. And for those of you who have watched the videos and liked them, I'm grateful. Please feel free to share. Also like the channel if you want to. I would appreciate that. So today, I want to acknowledge that quite a lot of things have happened in the short space of a week between the last time I did the last episode and this one. We've had the APC Presidential Primaries, and for a lot of people that was not a surprise. What surprised me was the number of delegates that they had. Well, I was surprised, and how the number of options that they had, people didn't choose otherwise. But then again, maybe that wasn't really a surprise, as rumor has it that quite a lot of people were given, so let's say about 1,200 people were given $100,000 each. Takes a very, very, very strong mind to not accept that kind of amount of money, right? Even when they already have it. The Okada Ban also was enforced in the beginning of the month of June. I'm not so sure how much longer the enforcement will go on for. They're not as front and center as they normally are, and I'm talking about the Okada riders. But to my mind, it doesn't address the issue of insecurity. Because it's not only the Okada riders that are, quote unquote, disturbing the peace and making people feel unsafe, or making people feel like there's no security, right? So does the ban address the issue? I don't think so. Because then we have all those bikes to dispose of. If we do dispose of them, we have all those riders to either relocate or find work for. I'm not sure that the state government is ready for that. So those are things to think about. It's not, the ban is good, but then what? We also had the really, really shocking events that happened in Owo on a Sunday. Without being disrespectful or insensitive to anyone, these sort of things have been happening in little fits and bursts, and we haven't really, it's an enito kon lomo. So it's when it happens to you that you understand what's happening, right? It used to be this happens in a certain part of the country and it's never going to get here. That's what we said about kidnappings and so on and so forth. With reference to kidnappings, the 60 odd people that were abducted on the Kaduna-Abuja rail line, 61 or so, only one person has been released. And I don't think it's rocket science for us to assume that that person's ransom was paid. While most countries say they do not deal with terrorism and they do not negotiate with kidnappers, people's lives are at stake. What other options are there? And are they pursuing any other, or rather, let me rephrase that, are we pursuing any other means of getting these people back safe and sound? I was told earlier on today by a friend that what happens with kidnappings is it's no longer whether you're a person of clout or not. I've also heard it said that if your ransom is not paid, then you will be sold for body parts. So there's a lot to what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot to be disenfranchised about. But that said, how do we make a change? How do we as individuals, so if I say for instance myself, how do I as an individual contribute to the change that I want to see? It starts with little things like holding myself accountable or finding somebody who will be holding me accountable for my actions. A person who is not afraid to speak to me when it seems like I'm veering off course, right? Who can't be bought over. A person who's willing to, in quote, risk our relationship to speak the truth to me, whether I like it or not. If I say that I have, for instance, joined a political party, and my aim of joining the political party is so that I get elected to a position where I can do good for the community that I am representing, and I do not get elected to that position, am I going to stay and correct or try and help to correct what exists or doesn't exist in the party that I'm part of? Or am I going to go off in a huff and a puff and join another party in the hopes that I would be elected? Am I really willing to work for the people? Because the stuff that we've talked about, that I've talked about today, right? Why is it that we cannot find the people who say they are in authority, right? Why is that there is no trail? The Owo killings, for instance. Somebody walks into a church and kills a number of people. There's no trace, there's no trail. How does somebody pick a community in not a major town and shatter their world, and a week or so later we have no leads? None. The ban with the Okada riders, right, to my mind is going to create a bit more chaos than order. Am I saying they shouldn't ban the Okada riders? No. But this is a two-way street, right? If I get on an Okada and the guy doesn't have a helmet, is wearing slippers that are half there and half not there, looks like he hasn't had a bath in a week, the Okada doesn't have a handlebar, it doesn't have, the thing that we know that all Okadas have for sure is horns, right? No lights. Parts are being tied by all sorts of things. And I look at that and I say that the value I put on my life, I should put that away for the meantime because I need to get to somewhere. Or I need to get somewhere fast. I'm doing myself a disservice, aren't I? So I'm as culpable as the Okada rider. So what do we need for those who say they are running for the people to address? There's a lot of things that with people doing the work that they say they want to do can correct. One is we should be able to trace whoever is kidnapped, whoever comes to decimate people's lives, whoever steals. We have mobile phones. We have mobile phone companies. We all watch spy movies and detective series. I know that we are capable. When we cut off something, have we already put the alternative in place? And are people aware of the fact that there's an alternative and it works? Or somewhat works? The primaries have happened. How many of us have our PVCs? INEC has been gracious enough to now get up and go plunk themselves in the middle of communities where they know that people can easily access them. What are you waiting for? All this information, especially the ones for getting your PVC, getting updated, changing your polling unit, etc., 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 is available online. Wherever you live, find out when INEC is coming to you. If our votes didn't count, people won't pay for them. I've run a bit over time on this episode, and I've tried to mash up my thoughts on 3 issues together. How do you want to make a difference come 2023? Don't let what's happening around us be a deterrent to what it is that your one vote can achieve. Hold people accountable. If you're voting for somebody, don't vote because there's herd mentality. Vote because you're convinced and you're convicted in your spirit that this person, you can hold this person accountable. Until you see and hear from me again in another week, my name is EyiyemiOlivia, episode 3 of EyiyemiOlivia Chats. You all have a good evening.